Hey everyone, welcome back to Shade Review. In today's video, we are reviewing the DITA EPILUXURY 8 sunglasses. Now, over the past couple years, I've gotten a ton of requests to review a pair of these sunglasses, but they are extremely expensive. DITA's EPILUXURY lineup is going to run you around $1,800 to $2,600. This pair in particular, I believe was around $2,300. And again, this is the EPILUXURY 8. So they're an ultra high-end, some may say epiluxury pair of sunglasses. So it's definitely taken me a while to review a pair of these frames because they're so expensive, and I know some of the really high-end sunglasses don't really get a lot of views to definitely justify the video. This pair of sunglasses might have cost me more than this video actually might get views, but that's besides the point. I still want to come on here and give true eyewear enthusiasts a look into what the daily ownership is going to be if you buy a pair of these sunglasses, and if they're actually worth the extremely high price tag or not. And these frames have been in my daily rotation of sunglasses over the past 2 months now, so I have a really good idea of my thoughts behind these frames. So let's go ahead and pop these sunglasses on face and talk about the dimensions. These have 53mm lenses and a 19mm bridge, and as far as the styling of these frames go, I really do love the styling. They look absolutely incredible, especially when exposing these frames to different types of light. They're gonna kind of bounce off and reflect off the frames and off the lenses in a really cool and great looking way. I actually put these on the table down here, and I filmed a video with my iPhone after I got all the main B-roll of these frames, just because it looked really epic in this lighting with the orange and with the purple. It just kind of really made the frames pop. So all the reflective surfaces off these frames are gonna add a really interesting look, and I do like that a lot. Now, another thing I do have to mention here is I actually had these custom CR39 lenses installed in these frames because I think these look a lot better than the traditional kind of gray lenses that came with these frames. I love a good gradient, especially on a pair of epiluxury sunglasses. I think you really can't go wrong with a epic looking gradient pair. And it also is going to allow you to wear these frames more often indoors as well, where if you have a category 3 lens, it's going to be too dark to kind of wear indoors comfortably. These you could definitely wear in a restaurant, indoors, or at a club or at a party, and not have an issue with seeing the world around you. Now, because these are custom lenses, they're not going to have the little etching here that is going to be found on the original lenses, which does definitely take a little bit away from the styling of these frames, but it also at the same time definitely cleans them up as well. And because there is no logo here, it adds a really clean look to these frames. And again, I do like the etching, but you know, pros and cons here. I honestly do prefer the clean look over the etching on the lens, even though the etching on the lens is cool. Now, of course, I still do have the original lenses, as you can see right here, that beautiful little etching there, but I definitely did want to mention in this video, let me change the focus back here to automatic, but I definitely want to make a point that these are different aftermarket lenses than the originals. The originals will have that etching on them. Now, as far as packaging goes, these frames come in this absolutely massive box here that says DITA EPILUXURY, and then has some, I believe, Japanese text on the top right here. Just huge, and it is wooden as well, and the quality of this seems to be pretty decent and definitely very heavy. So just kind of helps justify the higher price tag, having a really nice packaging there as well. Now, as the frame material goes, these frames are made out of acetate and titanium, and there are a ton of really unique and cool details to these frames, as you would imagine if you're spending this kind of money on a pair of frames. So here we can see the bridge has all these little holes in them, which adds a really cool look, and it definitely does stick out to the frame, adding some depth to them. I really do like the hinges here, and there's a lot of linear lines here on the frames as well that add to the styling. If we take a look here at the very top of the frame, we can see it says EPILUXURY 8, and then some beautiful kind of Japanese etching there. And then here on the underneath, we can see the model number and the sizing information. And then here on the other side, we can see it does say made in Japan on there. So some really nice etching. And then here, if we take a look at the titanium nose rest, we can see some, I believe, again, Japanese etching as well. I could be wrong. It might not be Japanese. it doesn't exactly look like Japanese. These frames are made in Japan, so that's just what I'm assuming, but honestly, I have no idea. Now, if we take a look at the inner right temple of frames, you can see that it says limited edition here, and then the inner left, it says DITA EPILUXURY. Now, moving down to the all titanium ear rests, we can see some absolutely beautiful, beautiful custom cutting here. And there's actually a hole through the ear rest, and just really incredible, very, very hard to produce, and just so much detail, so many lines here, just really a beautiful look. And you're gonna have to just handle these frames in person to really get a good idea of how nicely this is done. And then here on the inside, it's super smooth. There's not a single sharp bit at all. It is perfectly smooth, fits right behind the ear, feels really good. And again, that's not easy to do when you're producing a pair of frames like these. Also, the lower bridge also has a hole in it as well, which definitely adds to kind of the styling of these frames. And these frames also have a lot of innovation to them as well. They actually have adjustable temple tips on the fly. Right here we can see the traditional kind of skull temple tips, but they also do come in this really nice case here, which have these wire temple tips as well. And you can actually swap these on in just a couple of seconds. Now, it definitely does help to have a little bench here. So I'm just gonna use my tripod here, and hopefully I don't drop the frames. But basically, there's gonna be a tiny little button here that you're going to press in. So if you press that in, and again, you probably should do this on a table, not with a 6-foot drop, because you don't wanna break your frames. But if you press that in, it's gonna come right off. The temple comes right off. So we can do that on this temple, and oops, sorry about the microphone. And then I can do this here on the other temple as well. And just pressing down, temple's gonna come right off. Now let's go ahead and pop on the cable temples. So we're just going to line it back up. You're gonna hear a little snap and kind of feel a little snap. And there we have the left side on. And then here on the right, again, it's super easy. Just gonna click like that. And now we have these on. Now, as you can see, they're not gonna fall off. They fit absolutely perfectly. And now we have these cable or wire temple ear rests. And these, of course, are very practical. So here, if I pull these down really hard, it's just gonna kind of pull my ear. They're not gonna fall off. So if you want to wear a really cool looking frame, but you don't want one of those leashes or anything like that, and you want the frames to stick on your face, these frames definitely might be for you. I know a lot of people, rappers, people way cooler than me like to wear their expensive sunglasses while driving a jet ski or maybe out on a yacht. And unfortunately, a lot of them lose these very expensive sunglasses in the water because they don't fit on the face. And you can't put a leash on a pair of, $2,000 sunglasses. But these with the cable temples that you can adjust in just a couple seconds are gonna be very practical. Now, they are going to dig in just a little bit, like every pair of cable temples for me. It's not the end of the world, but it definitely is just a little bit annoying and just a little bit painful as well. But honestly, I would prefer a little bit of pain rather than losing this expensive pair of sunglasses at the bottom of the ocean. So really practical. And then as soon as you get back on the boat or back on land, you can easily, again, just pop these right off by pressing in that button and then pulling them off. It does take, of course, 2 hands and a little bit of precision to make sure you're pressing that kind of with your fingernail to release them. And you definitely wouldn't want to be able to release these easy anyways. You do want, some decent amount of pressure required. Otherwise, again, they could come flying off depending on what activity you are interested in doing. So yeah, really cool. Again, I'm going to install these right on the fly. It just takes just a couple seconds, and really I've never seen anything like it. It is high precision to be able to do this accurately. Now there is just a tiny little play. You probably can't see that, but there's a tiny little bit of play here when you put them back on. So it doesn't fit absolutely perfectly. I'm not sure what the tolerance is. Very small, and it's not annoying, but there just is a tiny bit of play that's not going to be there on a traditional pair of sunglasses that don't have these removable temples. So again, not the end of the world, but definitely something to note. It's not perfect. Now these frames also have these really robust and very smooth all metal hinges, and I've really never seen a hinge like this in the industry ever before. It is completely overbuilt and completely integrated into the pair of frames. It's absolutely incredible, honestly. And they're actually going to be a spring hinge. They're going to bend out and give a custom fit to basically anybody's face right off the bat, but they aren't ugly like traditional spring hinges are. And here on the sides, it's so smooth. Like, I don't know how they are able to even pull this off to have the spring hinge bend out, but then still kind of keep this super smooth area here on the temple. It really is incredible. And of course, I like that a lot. I also do like the styling here, of course. They look really nice. It's a very good modern aviator style, but these aren't overstyled like some of the other DITA frames. Are just a little bit, you know, too loud and overstyled for my particular liking. They also do have the side shield as well, which makes the frames a lot more practical and helps reduce sunlight coming in, bouncing off the lens at an angle. And they also do have a very nice anti-reflective material. The original lenses, and of course the lenses that I installed in these, have a very nice anti-reflective material, which help reduce sunlight coming in, bouncing off the lens at an angle. Now, as far as weight goes, these frames are going to come in at 32 grams. So you can wear these frames all day long without any discomfort. They're going to be a tiny bit heavy here on the nose, I guess, because they do have the heavier side shields here, but 32 grams is definitely nice and lightweight. And then these nose pads are oversized as well, which help distribute the weight on the nose very well. Now, as far as coverage from the sun goes, here up top you can see there is a pretty big gap to let sunlight in unprotected. And then here on the side, again, even with the side shield, there is a decent sized gap to let sunlight in unprotected. So not the most practical pair of sunglasses in the world, but these lenses are flat lenses, so of course you're not gonna have good practicality with the flat lenses, and the side shields definitely do help a ton. So the big question here, is this pair of sunglasses worth $2,200? And the answer is, you know, if you are willing to pay $2,200, they are worth the money to you. Everything here is extremely premium and nice, a very high quality, high precision pair of eyewear with beautiful etching and really great styling. There's nothing that I dislike about these frames. The only real downside here is the price. Could DITA make these frames for only, you know, $1,500? Probably. Are they charging an arm and a leg for their ultra luxury clients? Probably, but I don't know. I can't even imagine how expensive it is to produce each one of these pairs. Of course, you have to pay for the actual artist who's creating these and mocking these up. And again, it's a small batch, limited edition as well. They're not selling thousands and thousands of these. So there's a lot of money that goes into just the designers, just paying the designer's salary, and then of course just mocking these up and getting them into production and limited batch. It's gonna be very expensive to produce this pair of sunglasses. So I don't think they're making a ton of money on these frames. I think a lot of it comes down to the actual manufacturing process and everything that goes into these frames before it even reaches the manufacturing process. So I don't honestly think they are really that overpriced, even though it sounds kind of crazy because these are so expensive. But you know, once you handle a pair of these frames, they definitely make a lot of other sunglasses, including DITA's normal line of frames, feel just a little bit cheaper and not quite as sophisticated. But yeah, let me know what you think about these frames in the comment section down below. Do you love them? Do you hate them? Do you think they are worth the money? Let us know in the comment section down below. But that's all I got for guys in this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to give me a big thumbs up below. And of course, make sure to hit the subscribe button and then you'll be notified every single time I upload a brand new video, just like this one, to our YouTube channel. Again, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one.